Put our hands together to invite Mr. Abid Junaid of Radiant Star Group.
அனுபவமிக்க ஒருவர், வெற்றி பெற்றவர். அவர் சொல்லும்போது நமக்கு எல்லா தடைகளுமே ரொம்ப சிறு தவிடுபொடி ஆயிடும் அப்படின்னு நம்பி அவரோட உரையை கேட்டு நீங்க எல்லாரும் மகிழ்ச்சி அடையணும்னு கேட்டுக்கிறோம்.
அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு மொமெண்டோ கொடுக்கறதுக்கு நம்மளுடைய IBCN 2017 சேர்மன் அண்ணன் AN சொக்கலிங்கம் அண்ணன் அவர்களை மேடைக்கு அழைக்கிறோம். Thank you. The stage is yours.
Good evening. Vanakkam, ladies and gentlemen. முதற்கண் எனது இனிய தமிழ் புத்தாண்டு வாழ்த்துக்கள். Firstly, certain house rules. இங்கே நிறைய பேர் வந்திருக்கிறீங்க. நீங்கள் இவ்வளோ பெரிய கூட்டத்துக்கு நான் வந்துட்டு பேசுகிறது என்னுடைய ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் நினைக்கிறேன்னா, பொதுவாகவே துபாயில் வந்துட்டு ஒரு கான்ஃபரன்ஸோ ஏதோ செமினாரோ வைக்கிறதுண்டா எல்லோரும் இது ஒரு சாக்காக நினச்சிட்டு துபாய்க்கு வந்துட்டு எல்லோரும் ஷாப்பிங் மால் அங்கங்கே போயிடுவாங்க. நீங்கள் எங்கேயுமே போகாமல் நீங்கள் எல்லாருமே இங்கே இருக்கிறீங்க. மேபி ஒரு ரீசன் என்னன்னா, நீங்கள் சொன்னீங்க நீங்கள் செட்டியாரெல்லாம் ரொம்ப கட்டுச்சட்டாக இருப்பீங்க, செலவழிக்க சிக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு, அதனாலேயே ஒரு வேளை உங்களுடைய ஃபேமிலிஸ்லாம் நீங்கள் ஷாப்பிங் மால் கூப்பிட்டு போனீங்கன்னா செலவுங்கன்ட்டு பயந்துட்டு எவ்வளோ இங்கே இருக்கிறீங்களோ தெரியலை. ரெண்டாவது, என்னுடைய ஸ்பீச்சை நான் வந்துட்டு இங்கிலீஷில் எழுதி கொண்டு வந்திருக்கிறேன்னா, ஸோ அதனால் இங்கிலீஷ்லேயும் பேசுகிறேன்னா அது தமிழாக்கம் பண்ணி பேச முயற்சிக்கிறேன். ஃபர்ஸ்ட்லி வந்துட்டு வெல்கம் டு துபாய். ஐ ஹவ் பீன் இன் துபாய் வந்துட்டு ஆல்மோஸ்ட் ஃபார் 30 years. நான் வந்துட்டு 1987 இங்கே வந்தேன். வந்து ஒரு ஃபேமிலி பிஸ்னஸ்ஸு அதோட அசோசியேட் ஆகி கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 30 வருஷமாக இங்கே இருந்துருக்கிறோம். அதனால் வந்துட்டு ஓரளவுக்கு என்னால் துபாயை பற்றி சொல்ல முடியும்னு நினைக்கிறேன்னா, என்னை விட இங்கே மேபி மோர் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ்ட் அண்ட் மோர் லாங் ஸ்டாண்டிங் பீப்புள் கூட இங்கே துபாயில் இருக்கலாம். ஸோ லெட் மீ ட்ரை டு கிவ் யூ as much as I can about or what little I know about Dubai. என்னுடைய டாபிக் வந்துட்டு ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் ஆர் எவ்ரிவேர், வை மிடில் ஈஸ்ட். நான் என்னோடய சொந்த ஊர் வந்துட்டு எங்கள் ராமநாதபுரத்து டிஸ்ட்ரிக்ட்டு. ஸோ we are neighbors to you. And we have always been admiring and we are privy to the dynamism and business enterprise of the Nagarathas. We have a lot of family relations with a lot of people from your community. So we know that your business empire as early as the 19th century had spread to the entire Southeast Asian countries. நாங்களும் தான் வந்துட்டு போயிருக்கிறோம், but we met much later. Maybe we followed you to those countries. So I guess I don't have to make much effort to motivate you to come to the Middle East to expand your business empire. I will try to tell as much as I can to motivate you. Besides, the organizers have also assured me that if any of you here comes and invests in Dubai after listening to my speech, then I will get my facilitation fee of about 10% from your investments. நீங்கள் எல்லாம் இந்தியாவில் தமிழ்நாட்டில் எஸ்பெஷலி வியாபாரம் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறீங்க. ஸோ நான் என்ன சொல்கிறேன்னு உங்களுக்கு நல்லாவே புரியும் உங்களுக்கு. இன்ஃபேக்ட் ரீசெண்ட்லி தி அரேபியன் பிஸ்னஸ் மேகசின் released the 2016 list of the 50 richest Indians in the Gulf. Unfortunately, அதில் ஒருத்தர் கூட வந்துட்டு தமிழர் இல்லை. நான் சம்டைம்ஸ் ஒண்டர் பண்ணுறது, மேபி உங்களை மாதிரி கம்யூனிட்டி இங்கே வந்திருந்தால் அந்த நிலைமை வேறு மாதிரி இருந்திருக்கலாம். Maybe we would have been also in the list of 50 richest people. Okay, although the topic is the Middle East, now let me focus on Dubai, because உங்களுக்கு எல்லாருமே தெரியும் Dubai is the epicenter of the Middle East. அவருடைய growth engine வந்துட்டு Dubai தான். நீங்கள் I'm sure many of you would have visited Dubai over the last several decades maybe. நீங்கள் ஹாலிடேயாக வந்திருக்கலாம், பிஸ்னஸாக வந்திருக்கலாம். ஒன்றும் இல்லைன்னாலும் எமிரேட்ஸ் ஏர்லைன் வந்துட்டு இந்தியாஸ் நேஷ்னல் ஏர்லைனுங்கிறாங்க. ஸோ இங்கே துபாய் வழியாக தான் வந்துட்டு போயிட்டுருக்குது. ஸோ நீங்கள் எல்லாருமே வந்துட்டு டிரான்சிட் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் துபாய் வந்துட்டு போயிருப்பீங்க. இதுதான் வந்துட்டு ரியலி ஸ்பீக்கிங் தி the global, almost a destination for anybody visiting from the east to the west or, vice versa. Its reputation as a wealth generator and investment stronghold continues to drive the city's growth. Earlier on, Dubai in the early part of the 20th century, was part of the Trucial States of Oman, and when at that time, the economy of this, this emirate was trading to the Indian subcontinent, but during the latter half of the century, the economy became more an oil-based economy, and oil was one of the driving forces of the growth of this city. But even when the oil was one of the biggest revenue earners in the world, even the rulers they knew that oil will not be the mainstay of the economy. Over a period of time, importance they took a very far-sighted and forthright decision to move away from an oil-based economy as early as the early 80s. And today, an oil-based revenue Dubai. Dubai is more it has been replaced with a knowledge-based and a service-driven economy. 90% of Dubai's GDP is derived from non-oil income, and which is really a very, very significant thing. And this is primarily because of the far-sightedness of the rulers of the UAE, and especially His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, who has helped Dubai and the UAE to cope with the fall in oil prices, even from a high of about $100 to today what it is at $50. So, which is the reason why today, if all the other countries in the region are suffering from this, the fall in oil prices, Dubai is still able to maintain its position. Not only Dubai, even the UAE for that matter, the GDP of the UAE is only 70% comes from non-oil income, and only 30% is from the oil-based. And this also in another 15 years' time, only 15% of the UAE's GDP will be dependent upon oil. But just to put this in context, UAE is a country which possesses about 5.8% of the global oil reserves, 8th highest in the world, and at current levels of extraction, these oil reserves will last for the next 72 years. So it's not a country which is, which doesn't have oil reserves or which doesn't have oil. It is blessed with oil, but still, the economy and the vision is to move towards a non-oil base and not to be heavily dependent upon oil. And even the entire world's reliance on oil also will come down. You have cars like Tesla, which will run on, purely on electricity, and the general reliance on oil itself is coming down. So this is something that the rulers or the policymakers have factored in, and then they said, let's move towards a knowledge-based, a service-based economy. And this is where, people like us have a role to play. And overall, the GDP and the economy of the UAE has been healthy. In 2016, it grew at 3.3%, and in the year 2017, it is estimated to still grow at 3.6%. So for a mature economy like the UAE to grow at 3.6% is still a good sign. And we also think, UAE as a country has got, is blessed with a lot of, foreign exchange reserves. In fact, the investment authority of Abu Dhabi, which is the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority and related investment companies of Abu Dhabi, the Sovereign Wealth Fund, is close to $1 trillion. And this itself is one of the largest sovereign wealth funds in the world. Despite that, there are also a lot of people from outside who are investing in the UAE. In fact, foreign direct investment in Pathina, last year, $26 billion have come into UAE. And if you really look at it, India also, attracts almost only a similar amount of thing. For such a large economy like India, it attracts almost a similar amount of FDI only. So it is UAE is one of the 11th most attractive destination for FDIs in the world. So these are all the macroeconomic pictures of the UAE, and something which all of us can dwell upon when we're looking at investment in the UAE as a whole. Not just in the economy wise, but even as a vision, as a thinking, as a policy, it is a very progressive nation. Lot of pioneering initiatives. Today, if you look at it, you look at the energy sector. Primarily, the energy, the utility, the power sector was by gas-based, power sector, turbines and energy sector. But what the plan actually, they have a target of producing 75% of their energy from from clean energy sources. And today they have one of the largest solar power plants in the world, by name Maktoum bin Rashid solar plant. So again, something which they are very progressively looking at, diversifying their energy needs. They also have a vision of building a city in the Mars planet, and in 2015 they announced a Mars probe mission in which they will land a spacecraft in Mars in the year 2021. Again, very pioneering initiatives for a very small nation. If you really look at it, the nation is only about, including expatriates, is a population of about 9 million, with the local Emirati population of little over 1 million people. They'll be the first nation, they'll be the first Arab nation to put, an Arab person in the space. So these are all the pioneering initiatives of this country, and I guess we are all, blessed to, that it's so close to India, and so many of us live here, and maybe we can also motivate more of you to come here as well. Now, I've spoken a little bit about the UAE as a whole. Let me just focus on specifically on Dubai. First one which comes to my mind is the location. As they always say, the very important thing for success is 3 things they say. They say location, location, location. So if you really look at Dubai, it is blessed with a strategic location. It is close to the Indian subcontinent. It is close to the CIS countries, Africa, and the entire Middle East. So this actually is a population of about 2 billion people, which roughly is, accounts to about 40% of the world population. This location and the strategic advantage of this location means sitting from here, you can actually cover all these nations. And all these nations are really, vibrant, growing nations. If you look at Africa, much of us are doing business with Africa. It is the next frontier. So much of connectivity is there. We are also having, the big, economies of South Africa, Nigeria, etc. So it's very easy for us to even expand our business operations there. Second, which comes to my mind is the political and economic stability in this region. First Dubai is an oasis of peace and security and stability in an otherwise troubled region. There is monetary and financial stability as well, because there is a sophisticated financial system. All the world's banks are here, and it is probably, I could say also, an overbanked economy. The government has got a commitment to pro-business, liberal economic policies, including intellectual property rights. There is foreign ownership rights for 49% in limited liability companies which operate within the Emirate of Dubai, and also up to 100% ownership in free zones. And there are over 20 free zones catering exclusively to the service and market industries and covering the entire spectrum of business sector, from biotechnology to media to finance to education, healthcare, and a host of other specialized areas. Since you people are also into finance, I would say that Dubai International Financial Center operates under a unique legal system to optimize financial growth. They have their own, it is a self-contained financial environment, which promotes financial, products, and is also an investment center. If you look at Jebel Ali Free Zone, it is one of the largest commercial port enterprises in the world. Easily the largest, in the world and in this region. If you look at healthcare, I think the earlier thing we were talking about the service industry, healthcare. There is something known as a healthcare city, which attracts all the leading healthcare professionals in the world, and there are plenty of opportunities, including medical tourism. If you look at media, there is Dubai Media City is there, Dubai Internet City is there. Then we have Dubai Studio City, which is for the broadcasting, TV, and media industries. So if you look at it, there is a whole host of free zones which cater to specifically to the service industries and to finance and healthcare and so on and so forth. The third thing which comes to mind, the overall trade and economy in Dubai itself. Dubai is, free to, there is foreign ownership can be, as I said, 100% can be possible. They attract a very pro-government, a pro-business-friendly enterprise, very, very less regulation, and the regulations kept to a minimum. There are no corporate or personal taxes. They say in life only two things are permanent, death and taxes. Here I think only death is permanent, not the taxes part. And customs duty is only at 4% with many exemptions. And 100% repatriation of capital and profits is permitted. And between the US dollar and the UAE dirham, it is pegged. So there is it's a stable thing. It's been stable for the last 30 plus years. It is pegged. So it's essentially like you're operating in a US dollar environment. And very liberal visa policy, which provides easy importation of expatriate laborers of various skills from almost all over the world. So if you are having even a labor-intensive industry here, you can actually import, the required labor from almost anywhere in the world. Next thing, is the infrastructure. All of you are privy to the infrastructure which Dubai has got. It has got 2 world-class seaports. It has got 2 major international airports, which can cater about 80 million passengers per annum. Modern highway network. We've got public transport facilities, Dubai Metro, Dubai Tram, and a number of hotel rooms and apartments in Dubai is over 100,000. If you look at there is no place in India which has got, I think all of India put together will have, I think, about 100 rooms. I think in Chennai, for example, we've got about 5,000 or 6,000, equal standard hotel rooms and apartments. And the number of tourists who came into Dubai last year, and which they're targeting this year, is about 15 million visitors. And I think Dubai is ranked as one of the 3rd or the 4th largest, attracting visitors in the world itself. Next comes the quality of life. Dubai is an excellent place for living and raising a family. Very good education. Very, good healthcare facilities, and it is almost like, living in any world-class, modern, advanced city in terms of leisure, in terms of, everything. And there is a room for a very, very rich person to live his lifestyle, and also for a middle-income person also to live their lifestyle. So it's not only a place which is only meant for the rich. It's meant for the rich, for the middle income, for everybody actually. And there is plenty of real estate, freehold ownership of apartments as possible. This is where I come in. I have developed a lot of real estate development here. And maybe if any of you are interested, we can also sell you some apartments. Then the next thing which I would like to do is the overall trade and business. Dubai is the 3rd largest exporter and re-exporter after Hong Kong and Singapore. This is not just in the trading side, but also in the manufacturing side. Today, Dubai is rapidly expanding its manufacturing sector as well. They already are a market leader in manufacture and export of aluminum ingots, then fabricated metal products, textiles, ready-made garments, gold and jewelry, prepared foodstuffs, consumer electronics, etc. As a result of this, Dubai is, a preferred global destination for infrastructure and business. Just a little bit of statistics. They attracted about $7.8 million in FDI in 2016. The top 5 sectors in capital investments were in power generation, distribution, financial services, accommodation, food services, transportation, and logistics. And in this FDI, India was the 3rd largest investor country in the UAE, only after the US and the UK. Most of you are here. You might be wanting to know what are the areas that you personally would be, let's say, invest in. What comes to my mind is the hospitality sector, which is growing at a great pace. Then the trade and services. There are a lot of services, whether it be the shipping and logistics or pure trading, which is bulk commodity trading to the African continent and elsewhere. And the other major sector is, of course, contracting and real estate. These are some of the areas which, some of you might be interested in considering for investment. I think that lastly, I wish to speak about the Uae India Relations. Uae and India enjoy historic ties, and about 2.5 million Indians live and work in the UAE, making it the largest ethnic group in the UAE. India is one of the largest trading partners, with bilateral trade between the two countries, amounting to about $75 billion. Recently, and politically also very close relations. Recently, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, was the chief guest at the 68th Indian Republic Day celebrations. And the last year, we also had the Honorable Prime Minister of the UAE, of India, visited the UAE, and several agreements were signed. And UAE has also promised to invest over $70 billion in India over the near to long term. So the relations between India and UAE are very strong. It is the strength comes from people like you and me, who are part of the fabric here, who have contributed to the development of the UAE, and vice versa. The country has been kind to us, and they have offered us a place to live and work, and we have been fortunate enough to be here. And as they say, நான் பெற்ற இன்பம் இவ்வையம் பெற வேண்டும் என்று சொல்கிறது போல, நாங்கள் பெற்ற இந்த இன்பத்தை நீங்கள் எல்லாரும் பெறணும். நீங்கள் எல்லாரும் இங்கே வந்து நீங்கள் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணணும், முன்னேறணும் இதை சொல்லிவிட்டு என்னுடைய பேச்சை முடிச்சுக்கிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
ரொம்ப அருமையாக சொன்னாங்க. அதாவது பார்த்திங்கன்னா இங்கே யூஏஇயில் தொழில் தொடங்குவதற்கு நம்மளுடைய கவர்மெண்ட்ஸோட ஒத்துழைப்பு, அதுவும் இல்லாமல் இங்கே உள்ள இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சர்ஸ், ஈஸி விசா ப்ராசஸ், லேபர் மார்க்கெட் இஸ் ஈஸியர் அண்ட் மெனி அதர் ஃபெசிலிட்டிஸ் பாயிண்ட் வைஸாக ரொம்ப டீட்டெயிலாக சொன்னாங்க. ஐ திங்க் தெர் ஆர் லாட் ஆஃப் டேக் அவேஸ் ஃப்ரம் ஹிஸ் ஸ்பீச். லெட் அஸ் கிவ் ஹிம் ஒன் மோர் ரவுண்ட் ஆஃப் அப்ளாஸ் ப்ளீஸ். Yeah.